Awesome. So start our recording. So that's ready for us after this for people that couldn't quite make it. Well, welcome everybody to our session dedicated to strengthening your business strategy. It's the second in our 5-session virtual speaker series focused on women in business. So thank you all for taking some time out of your evening to join us. I'm happy to have you all here. It's kind of a fun series that we're having as a part of our One Book One community. My name is Christy Hennigan. I'm the Adult Services Manager at the West Fargo Public Library, and it's exciting to get our amazing facilitator for tonight's session. I'll do a little bit of a kickoff and just a few announcements to go over before we jump into the session content. So first, this is our Women in Business series. It's part of our West Fargo Public Library's One Book One community programming. We have a total of 4 targeted sessions that tackle a component of your business, and we started the series with a panel of brewers and bakers for the series. If you want to learn more about your finances and those options, or tactical technology investments, or HR best practices, you can find our upcoming sessions on our Facebook as well as our website to get registered. For those that already occurred, we do have recordings on our YouTube channel. For those that might be unfamiliar with the One Book One community programming, it's a collaboration between the Fargo Moorhead Metro Public Libraries and academic libraries, alongside the historical societies as well. The group selects a book for the whole community to read. Then each partner plans and hosts programs throughout the months of August through October. And this year the book is The Logger Queen of Minnesota by J. Ryan Straddle. We'll be having a virtual author talk on September 24th. You can check out the One Book One Community Fargo Moorhead West Fargo Facebook page for a few more details on how to register for that and stay connected to the larger author talk. More from the West Fargo community. In addition to our Women in Business series, we have partnered with Square One Kitchens and many of the women-owned businesses that call it home to share a WFPL Midwest Kitchen series of virtual cooking classes. Some of those featured recipes are a chocolate stout and peanut butter bar, as well as a cheddar and green chili sourdough beer bread. If you're interested in that, you can turn into our Facebook and YouTube channel and bring those recipes into your kitchen. My last announcement is to encourage you to take part in our Beanstack Challenge. Beanstack is our online reading log platform. You can log reading as well as completion of activities online and on the mobile app. It's basically like a Fitbit for reading and completing activities. We create new challenges. Plus, in like the summertime, we have a summer reading challenge that's for youth and adults, as well as a winter reading challenge. And this year we have one specific to One Book One community that is activity-based, such as attending today's virtual session will count towards that challenge. And once you complete all of the activities, you'll be entered to win one of the 10 copies of The Logger Queen of Minnesota. So you can get your own copy of the book. And lastly, just a little bit of housekeeping. We are so excited to offer this series of sessions. Today, really, Christy will be leading it, and we'll have some time for Q&A throughout, and it'll be pretty interactive for you all. If you have questions, though, feel free to submit them through the chat, and we'll try to add them in and tackle them the best that we can. And the second note is we're all using a bit more technology than maybe we had before. And if you have any questions with anything wrong with Zoom or anything, just feel free to put that in the chat as well. And then lastly, we want your feedback on today's session. We have sent a survey link in the email with the Zoom info, but I'll follow up as well after with the recording as well as the survey link then. Really just take a minute and complete the survey. It's about 5 to 6 questions, and it just really helps us continue to offer really great programs and keep improving and creating things that are relevant for our community. So without further ado, let's get to today's session and meet our facilitator. Christy Dauer is the program manager for the North Dakota Women's Business Center, and she's based in the Fargo area. She's a native of West Fargo. She's a sales and marketing professional with over a decade of successful experience in expanding client relationships. Christy specializes in sales and marketing to make meaningful partnerships. Her smile has been called contagious, and her laughter fills a room. Inspired by her parents at the age of 6, Christy has a passion of helping others by volunteering and giving back to local nonprofits. Christy lives in West Fargo with her husband and 2 boys. So welcome, Christy. I'm excited to have you. And
Thank you.
I'll hand things over to you.
You know, Kristen, something I like to do is just welcome the guests today, because really this presentation is about you. Could we take your microphones off mute and just say hi and your name and maybe either the company you represent or your own company, just to get a flavor of who's in the room tonight?
Absolutely. Yeah, don't be shy.
Hi, I'm Z, or my actual name is Zaina. I work at Blackbird downtown, and I also have my own food truck, Students Egyptian Eatery.
Ah, thanks. Nice to meet you, Z.
I'm Zoe. I signed up, but we're friends, so we're on the same Zoom. I work at Blackbird Woodfire as well.
Hi, this is Chiharu, and I'm trying to listen for the women's business. Yes, how it works. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Wasifa, or you can call me Sifa. I'm a social influencer, blogger, and freelance writer. I work for Area Woman magazine and Fargo Mom, and I'm also running my business for the past 10 years. I work with various brands and promote their products and like create a bridge between the consumers and the brand. So yeah, that's about it.
Hi, I'm Ashley. I own MoveWise Physical Therapy, and my business is primarily geared towards athletes, active adults, fitness enthusiasts, and helping them to stay active and pain-free. And then I also have a little branch of my business is women's health and pelvic floor physical therapy as well. So just helping women through all stages of life, navigate pregnancy, postpartum, and just like, you know, really just embracing those changes in your body over time. So.
Hi everyone, I'm Danny. I'm currently between positions right now, but kind of in this time of, you know, not working, I've been pondering starting my own thing. So that's why I'm here today.
Good to see you, Danny.
Well, hi, I'm Chris, and I am trying to gather information because I want to start my own business. It'll be to help women and children that have been abused, so I'm trying to find a way to start a business to help them.
Was that Stephanie? Did we hear from you?
No, I'm trying to figure this out. I've never done this Zoom thing before.
Well, welcome to Zoom.
I just finally figured out how to see everybody, which is interesting.
Yeah, nice.
Awesome. Okay, I'm Stephanie Tome. I own Blooming Baby Ultrasound here in Fargo. So I'm just starting out, I guess.
Love it. Thank you all so much. For me, it truly is about you in the room, so I love to keep things interactive as much as possible. I did put together a little worksheet, so if you are type A and need to take notes, hopefully that worksheet came across okay. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screens. Does anybody have any questions before we begin? No? Okay. Uh-oh, it says host disabled participant screen sharing. Let me steal the host back. Nope. Technology is wonderful. All right, here we go. So my name is Christy Dauer, and I volunteered with the North Dakota Women's Business Center for about 3 years prior to becoming an employee. I left corporate America in 2019. I worked for a national company, a national sales and marketing company for 12 and a half years, and came to Women's Business Center to actually find my passion in small business. Thank you all for being here. But I like this quote, starting and growing a business is as much about the innovation, drive, and determination of the people who do it as about the product that they sell. And so that's why it's really important to me to get to know the whole person. North Dakota Women's Business Center offers, I think, there we go, statewide services. So we do have a location here in Fargo. It's just off Veterans in Dakota Business Lending. We are doing everything virtual right now, but then we are statewide. So we're a nonprofit. We receive a federal grant to provide free and confidential services to women entrepreneurs looking to start, grow, or expand their businesses. So we're really excited to share our knowledge, our resources, and those business advisings to you at no cost. We talked a little bit about this, but business is the words we speak every day. And number two, the business advisings is what we exist to do. As a thinking partner, I like to say the entrepreneurial journey, having been an entrepreneur myself, sometimes that journey is really lonely. And as you're going on the roller coaster of the journey, how can you even that out? And you need a thinking partner. And sometimes that means somebody in a capacity that can just step back and say, hey, here's where we think, here's what we think, and then ultimately it's up to you. So we are number 3 there, women-owned business certification. We are the only entity certified by the Department of Commerce to certify women-owned businesses. And sometimes those women-owned business certifications mean access to contracts. So that is a certification that we do. You can find more information on NDWBC. There is a cost to it because it is there is an audit process. So that does have a cost associated to it. And sometimes some of our trainings do as well, but the business advisings we do keep as 100% free services. Next page. Okay, so this is the scary statistic. How many times have you probably heard? I heard Blackbird Wood Fire. I love that place. But I have a friend that just said, hey, gosh, it'd be fun to own a restaurant. And about a year later, she came back to me and she's like, oh my gosh, I need to sell. She's like, it's so much work, so many things. I need to get out of this. I can't believe I ever thought this was going to be fun. And she's married to it, and she never really checked her support system before she started. And so I like to say that 8 out of 10, I don't like to say 8 out of 10 businesses fail every year, but that's the reality. And so how can you set those skills from the beginning so that you don't have that fear mindset? You don't make decisions out of fear. Not because businesses don't fail because they waste organizational time, money, effort on building an idea without a strong foundation. So what that foundation is from the beginning is really important to see your business idea through the strategy and through execution. The biggest reason we see businesses fail is that they simply fail to do their market research from the beginning. They fail to listen to their customers, or they're unable to differentiate in the market. Sometimes there's a leadership breakdown or a partnership issue, or failing to adapt to market changes. Right now during COVID, I don't think I need to tell anybody, but how do those changes affect what you're doing every day? And does it create an inability to create additional revenue streams or profit? How can you capitalize on this time? There are businesses still selling products right now or services. How can you stay competitive in that market? So here's a couple of the, if you want to take out your worksheet, I'd like to give you just a couple minutes. Please come off mute and let's talk. This should be page number 1 in your worksheet. I don't think I saw the final draft from my office, but I have a really great team that helps support the work that we do. And this little worksheet I put together thinking, what is your why? And whether you've been operating a business for 10 years or you're just starting out, why do you want to start your own business? What personal strengths will help you successfully run your business? And again, I'd love to, if you feel comfortable, come off mute and let's talk about a couple of these things. Anybody feel vulnerable enough that they want to share a little bit?
Okay, Christy, so I think I can talk. So yeah, I want to, like, I already have a business, but I want to make it stronger and I want to learn about business because first of all, let's be honest, I want financial stability. First of that reason. Second reason is I really want to help my community. I am working towards women who has any physical diversity, physical adversity, and I'm helping them throughout providing mental support and providing information and my expertise. So I want to make it a solid business so that I can help more strategically, and it can be a both way help, like I can gain financial stability and my audience can gain the help and the expertise from me. So that's my point of view.
So what I'm hearing from you is the finance piece. So from the very beginning, the finance piece and helping people, but ultimately we want to help support you, right? The entrepreneur. And so how do you form your business right away so that you can cash flow? Many businesses don't cash flow in their first year. And some, get into a really high retail a really high lease agreements and sign a deal for a 5-year contract and these really ironclad contracts where they can't have that flexibility. For you, if your goal is cash flow and high growth right away, let's talk about your why and how do you frame those things so that you can cash flow right away. And so I think this is a really important piece, even if you've been in business, to take a step back and pause. What risk factors will affect your decision to grow? And so you can change that to, instead of to start a business, to grow your business. What risks are there? If you're out networking and maybe you have, family, or you have, volunteer or community involvement, does that involvement take a hit so that you can spend more time on your business?
Okay, so yeah, you have given me a lot to think about.
I like to throw a lot of darts.
I just started working, but I didn't think it that strategically, to be honest. Like I didn't think it like that. Like this stuff, the worksheet I'm seeing here, like I know these stuffs in the back of my head, but I am not clear. Like if you ask me point by point, I'm not clear about talking about it, like exactly why. So yeah, that's a very good question.
That's okay. That is okay. I just like to bring it up because a lot of entrepreneurs, again, think it'd be fun to be an entrepreneur. And what they don't think about is, okay, if I'm going to, what are my non-negotiables? What are the 3 things I don't want to lose? And how do you weave those right into the foundation of your business? And if yours is to cash flow quickly and be in a high growth phase right away, that's going to be a big time investment. And so just want to, excuse me, somebody was in the waiting room there. And so just want to make sure that, you don't have, and if you did, that's great. But if you don't have all the answers to these questions, maybe time to reflect before you hit that high growth phase.
Yep, that's true.
Thank you so much for sharing. I'm going to jump to the next page, but if anybody seriously has questions or comments, please stop me. But we'll jump to the next one here. Oops. Business strategy. So I love the ideation. My office sometimes gets really frustrated with me because I am a creative brain, and sometimes my brain works faster than my mouth can do. And so they're like, Christy, you're talking way over our heads, like slow down, we're still on event planning. And I'm like, oh, okay. So I love strategy, I love thinking, and I love long-term ideas, but the fact is you have to be in the here and now. So setting specific long-term guidelines or your guardrails. What's your right and left guardrail for business? How do you achieve those business goals or objectives? Business owners often outline their initial strategies right in their business plan. So it's important to think of those things, and whether you write a 20-page business plan or if it's a napkin sketch on a co-starter's canvas, which I'll show you on a later page, it might even be in your packets. But let's talk business plans. So business plan serves as the roadmap. I like to call it the roadmap. Where are you going? Where are you headed? Where are you today? But it outlines the business owner's idea, the financial needs of your business, the expected sales, your target market, demographics in the marketplace. And this is my passion. This is what I help business owners do as a free and confidential consultation every day via Zoom, Teams, you name it. We're just not in person yet. But that's what we get that financial grant, national grant to do every day. So happy to think through these on a one-on-one if there's somebody out there that needs some of that. But a business plan is important if you need to connect to capital. So if you expect to need any financial means or even presenting to an investor, it is wise to have the business plan. And ultimately, the secret to the business plan is how are you unique and different from your competition? And number two, how are you unique and different, and how is your solution solving a problem to your customers' needs? And a lot of people think, okay, hey, and I've had clients like this, hey, I really want to go into XYZ business. And I'm like, okay, great. I want to support you on that business. But let's talk customers. Do the customers even know that they want this service or product? And if the answer is no, let's find your niche and let's work on it together. So number two, express what the problem or gap in services and how you're solving it. So we kind of talked about that. How are you unique and different? Number three, it helps you step back and think objectively. So how can you get out of the business and look at that 40,000 view of your 40,000 foot view of your business, and do your customers need the product or service you're selling? And how are you going to reach them? And that's number four. It guides your decision making. It's those guardrails, those right and left guardrails. The foundations of business. Another one of I get really excited, you guys. I'm kind of a dork. This is on your worksheet. Yes, the foundations of business. We put this on your worksheet, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong there. But these foundations of business allow you to think through your business and make it one of the best for you and your lifestyle. So we're going to go through each of these, and I encourage you to take notes. What is the value proposition? And if you've been in business for 10 years or just looking to start out, these are your foundations. And this is something I really encourage you. Put a couple keywords. If that's all you can get out, that's great. But put a couple keywords and think about, what does your company stand for? Let's go through them. So your value proposition is what makes customers choose you instead of your customers, instead of your competition, excuse me. There we go. Oops. It's part marketing, part operations, and part strategy. Your value proposition is the foundation of your competitive advantage. What value are you bringing to your customers? On a subconscious level, your customers will compare the value proposition of your company against those that you're competing against when they're deciding to purchase from your business. With that in mind, here are a couple things that you might want to remember. Your value proposition should be short and uncluttered. It explains why your customers should want to buy from you. If you can't sum it up in 10 words or less, chances are you won't be able to execute it. So keep those succinct. Be precise. Does it bother? Is anybody a type A and wants these all on the screen? If so, I can email them to you. But my slides are somewhat uncluttered because otherwise my squirrel brain goes in different directions. But number two, so number one is keep it short and uncluttered. Number two is be precise. Your customers have specific needs. Your value proposition should offer those targeted solutions in a concise manner. It's been told that the average person scrolls the size of the Statue of Liberty every day with their thumb. That's insane. So if your marketing isn't on point and concise, your customers aren't going to stop and slow their scroll. They're going to scroll right past you. So keep your marketing concise so that people can see it. It is about your customer. It's not about you, because ultimately, if you don't have somebody willing to buy your product or service, it's not going to be a profitable venture. And I know that seems really simple, but it is important. It is all about your customer. Is it the content? Is it the service? Is it the product that they're looking for? And do they even know that they want it? Or do you have to up your marketing game in order for them to see and want that product or service? Value comes in numerous forms. So sometimes it's money, sometimes it's time, and sometimes it's convenience. What does that mean for you and your specific business? Any questions there? Okay, let's jump to market strategy. So what does your market strategy look like? Results from market analysis. So what does your market analysis look like? What's your specific demographic that you're trying to target? What forces the entrepreneurs to get familiar with the market they operate in? How should your business be positioned in the marketplace? Do you want to be the low-cost leader, the Walmart? And I don't mean that offensive. Or do you want to be the Macy's? But who do you want to be in, and who do you want to, how do you want to compare that way? What is the size of the market? I have a lot of really great demographic data, and I'd be happy to share that with you. But what is the size of your market? What is the total sales of your competitors? Creep out their Facebook, their Instagram, their Twitter. If they're saying we're closing up shop because we don't have any customers, maybe not the right industry. Or was there a failure in partnership and that's why they're closing? How much market share can you capture? What if you really succeed? I have businesses pre-COVID that came to me all the time, and they're like, Christy, we never thought we'd grow this fast. And now, surprise, we have so many customers and we can't find the employees to keep up with demand. And so then they're trying to rapidly hire, and it wasn't what they wanted to be. So your pricing, your distribution, your promotional strategies are the levers you can adjust to capture that market share. Distribution, pricing, promotional strategies. How will you achieve that market share? I'm going to digress for a minute. So give you a real world example. My market strategy, so the way that I paid for college was selling hot dogs out at the Red River Valley Fair. And I wanted to sell a Cloverdale hot dog because they're made in North Dakota. I wanted them grilled. and I wanted to sell them for $1. So I met with Cloverdale, and I was a young college student, and I said, I have 6,000 people, I have a captive audience, I want them coming early so they take advantage of the convenience of bringing their families out, and I want to sell hot dogs for $1 because ultimately I knew that they'd buy pop or they'd go over and buy a different beverage. And I just knew that getting them out there early would get them spending money. And ultimately I was paid on profit, and I was going to be able to, sell as much as I could, as quickly as I could. And so I negotiated those contracts. And I was able to sell that grilled hot dog for $1 and with a fresh bun every week. And that's how I paid for college. My strategy, my market strategy, was to be the low cost. And so my hot dog was $1 and I didn't make any money. My margins were so tight that I maybe made a couple cents on that hot dog. But I was charging $2.50 for a bottle of pop or water. And I was paying maybe 80 cents for that bottle of pop because I had a Pepsi contract. And so that's where I was making my money. So what is your strategy and how does it align with your market and to stay profitable? All right, operations strategy. What physical assets, people, policies, processes do you need to provide to deliver value to your customers? In simplest terms, number one, establish a list of tasks using the broadest of classifications possible. Number two, organize. Organize the tasks into departments. Organize them into means. What is priority? What do you need to do first in your operations strategy? For me, when I was selling the hot dogs, I needed to negotiate those contracts to even know if my marketing strategy would work. And then I needed to communicate to all of my staff. Hey, we're getting them in, we're getting them out early, and we're getting them spending money. And then how do you value add? So, hey, do you want a bag of chips with that? And I know we're not all restaurateurs out there, but I hope you can bear with my example here. How do you determine the type of personnel? In my example, I needed somebody really charismatic at that till. I needed somebody that was able to take high pressure, really long lines. I had lines that wrapped all the way around, all the way out to the bathrooms. And I needed somebody that could still have a smile on their face at 11 o'clock at night. But there still is a spot for the rest of for the introverts. The introverts could be, being the support role. And you know what? It was finding about where the right people fit in the organization. And even in small business, even if you have 2 people, how do you play to the strengths of what you're good at? As the entrepreneur, you're going to be faced with decisions. And I sometimes say that you can be the janitor, you can be running the till, and you could have to balance the books at the end of the day. And then you better still have enough energy to interact with the customers the next day. But how do you prioritize your time to spend your time on your highest value activity? So if you can hire someone to run your till, run your register, perform the service perhaps, so that you can be out in the community networking, and that's where your passion is, and that's drumming up more business, then think about that. Is it outsourcing your social media? Because you hate social media, but for your business to survive, it's about being on social media, then find some branding content. We have lots of resources, and we're happy to connect you with somebody that can help you with your social media if you're not up on your social media game. If crunching numbers isn't your thing, then find somebody, a business resource person that we have resources for them as well. Let's find someone that you can connect with so you're not crunching numbers at 1 o'clock in the morning and hating your entrepreneurial gig. Financial strategy. So Sifa, thank you so much for sharing. You want to cash flow. And dang it, I'm telling you, there are so many people that don't know that. It takes them 2 years to figure out, geez, I just wanted to make money. So you know that, girl, and way to go. I'm so thankful that you shared. But what is your financial strategy? And how can you establish if that market and operation strategy will generate your profit? What does that look like in order to cash flow? I'm going to go through this infographic and then I want to pause for questions because I talk really fast. So success is not that straight line. You all know this as entrepreneurs. Even if you have the entrepreneurial mindset, you already know success never comes shoo. And even when I was selling hot dogs thinking, okay, I'm going to graduate college with no student debt and I'm going to work myself to the bare bones. I wanted to rock it. And I wanted those. But let me tell you, when you're when you come, things are going good, you have a couple race nights in and all the things are going and you're selling those hot dogs, you're selling the pop for the actual profit, but then all of a sudden you have a couple rainouts. Or you have, if any of you are in the retail world, you have a snowstorm on Small Business Saturday. And then you have a pandemic and you have to close your business for 2 months. How do you, that foundation, those 4 value propositions that we just talked about, marketing, operations, financial, how do you hone in on those skills to keep yourself going through the low points? If you are a seasonal business, be thinking about what's another revenue stream, what's something else that I can do so that the lows aren't as low, because we all know that they're coming in business. So I'm going to pause. Does anybody have any questions? Am I talking too fast? I'd love some feedback.
I'll hop in. So things is all super helpful for me. So one of my questions is going back to market strategy. I think you might have said that you had some resources. Where do you find to know what the market is, maybe in the area, or even if it's beyond that, like the immediate area? How do you start that research, and what are kind of some of the key things you should hit when doing some of that research?
So if you are trying to sell, good question. Thank you for that question. So let's say you want to start a lawn care business and your demographics, if you look at the households in the area perhaps, and there are no all the households are multifamily dwellings, it's probably not your target market in the simplest form. West Fargo actually publishes a lot of their information online, Danny, as far as median household income. So those are good things to look at. So if you're trying to sell something that's maybe a higher tier valued item, and your perhaps target market or your business is positioned into a lower tiered income area, then that might not be the right strategy for your business. So a lot of that information can be found online. We also have some websites, and I'm happy to share those websites with you, but we do own some of those data type websites that we can punch in a zip code and kind of spit out some of that demographic information as well.
Thank you.
You bet. Anyone else? All right, who is in your corner? So we're all women. We all have different things. I like to say we're all in the same ocean, but we're in different boats right now. And how do you be the swan on top of the water, gracefully swimming through the water while you're pedaling your feet underneath the water as fast as you can? And so who is in your corner? Who is supporting you? Who is going to, if you're sick and you're a solopreneur, who can cover your responsibilities? Where will you pursue your mental health? Right now, there's a lot of clients that come to us that just need to vent, and hey, that's okay. We're in your corner. And Women's Business Center is seriously just here to help you through those. So we do have some mental health resources, but I heard when we were doing our 60-second intros, mental health is so important, and I'm thankful that we have advocates right here on the phone with us today. And I'm a big proponent of seeking out those resources. Last week we had Brittany Shank, who is a mental health practitioner, on our Strong Woman Strong Coffee, and she just talked about, hey, it's okay, and just seek out those things. So where will you pursue your mental health? If you have a big sale planned for Small Business Saturday and it snows, and then you reschedule for 2 weeks later, and you go through all the work and all the marketing, and it snows 2 weeks later, hey, that's going to be a toll on your mental health. So how is your business positioned to get through those types of situations? Well, where will you pursue your physical support and your physical health? We believe in the Women's Business Center that the whole person, the whole entrepreneur is important. Your financial support. So I hope you're jotting some names down. If you can't find someone in one of these corners, I love that there's a watch party going on right now. I hope they're still on. That's so fun. You guys have some support right there. Hey, let's go to this class and let's do it together. So thank you for having a watch party tonight. And then the bottom, how will you shape and maintain your bail team? I volunteer a lot in the jail. That is not the bail team I'm talking about. The bail team. Oops, was there a question? The bail team is who is in your banking or your finance corner, who's your accountant, or who's in your accounting corner, who's your insurance, who's going to protect you if somebody falls on your property or is coming to your home, and you have, maybe you're home based and you have a bunch of products getting ready to go out, and you have an apartment fire. That's real life. I have a client that happened to, and they had all of their products and they didn't have renter's insurance. And they lost all of these goods in a fire. So who is in your insurance corner? Who is in your legal corner? Believe it or not, I'm helping a partnership right now dissolve, and they just fell out of love with their business, and that's okay. They're going to move on. They're going to be fine. But the way that they structured their business from the beginning wasn't a viable business strategy. And now that their friendship has dissolved, they actually have to step and part ways. And now they have a really messy legal battle in front of them, and it could cost their friendship. So who is in that corner in the legal team from the beginning, so that way you don't have to pick up those pieces at the end? And think of protecting yourself from the downside or the upside. What if things go really well? So I don't want to sound like the doom and gloom, but that last question is so important. How will you shape and maintain those relationships? I like to say we have questions, suggested questions that I'm happy to share. I could go all night on this stuff, but I'm not, because I don't want to bore you all. I just get really excited about what I do. But what are those questions you should be asking your accountant? Your accountant should be able to tell you a little bit about your business, and your accountant should be able to tell you, hey, I think it's time for you to look at your finances. Your accountant should be able to be a thinking partner with you, and hopefully they're advocating for you as well. Looks like we have something in the chat. Oh, you're good. So if you need help planning out that bail team, again, Women's Business Center would love to help you with those resources and be a thinking partner along those things. I am not a banker. I am not insurance. I am not a legal advisor, but what we can do is we can connect you with those resources for you to make those decisions. This should also be in your packet. So this is the Co-Starters Canvas. You can find this right on Google. We've been using this document probably since it was made, and it's one of my favorite things because it's the napkin sketch. You guys probably have these ideas bouncing around in your head every single day as an entrepreneur. And just putting it down on something as simple as a lean canvas There's other options. If you don't like the colors on this one, I guarantee if you Google lean model canvas on Google, you can find all kinds of little things. My suggestion for you, even if you are an existing business, try to put something into each of these boxes. I like to start with what is the problem. So the second box here, what is the problem your customer has? What are their alternatives? How is your business providing the solution? And does your customer even know that they have this problem? What message do you want to portray? When you shared earlier about, hey, my business is in high growth, I want high growth, then how can you match your revenue projections to match that high growth? What is your distribution? Do you have really good sources for your products? Because we've all seen the supply chain get affected during this pandemic. What does your distribution look like? And how can you have good relationships with your suppliers? If you have to close your doors for 2 months for illness or for whatever, that's an extreme case, but obviously there were some businesses that were affected that way here in Fargo, and they weren't able to pay their supplier contracts. And the ones that had those agreements in place and had those conversations and knew their distributors were able to call them up and say, hey, I can't place an order because I don't have any money coming in. And guess what? Those ones where they're like, hey, it's okay. Give us 15 more days. And they were willing to work and negotiate some of those contracts. So how can you be an advocate for that distribution model as well? Goal getter. I wish I had 20 minutes left just to go through this, but I encourage you to take this offline. For those that are focused on goals, I'm just going to cover this. I would have loved to make this interactive, but I don't want to jeopardize the rest of our evening together. So what are your biggest challenges? And put them down. Try to list a couple of them. If it's a high growth business and you want high growth because you want a cash flow, then you need customers in your doors. And right now, maybe if you're having some issues with customers, maybe you need to look at the ERG grant from the Department of Commerce. Is there something to help restore the confidence, consumer confidence to get into the business? What obstacles to keep your eye on? What is the date that you plan to look at those obstacles? And how are you going to measure those goals? Questions. And I can jump back to this if anyone has questions on this worksheet.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so my name is Gracia. I didn't introduce myself in the beginning, and I'm very much like the voices I heard. So I would like to start my own business. I do want to give back to my community with that revenue. I don't really have a lot of questions. I just wanted to say, one, I enjoyed this. This was great. You did a super, super duper job presenting. And I love the agenda and the worksheet. So thank you for this. It was a great opportunity. I'm glad I saw it.
Thank you so much for sharing. I really appreciate that.
Absolutely. I look forward to looking you up. And I think I saw some more classes coming up.
Yeah, Kirsten's got a rock star schedule. I'll let you go ahead, Kirsten.
Yeah, we do have a few more sessions coming up. Our next one is on the 27th of this month, and it's focused on finding finances and funding for female entrepreneurs. We have a couple of great panelists for that session. We have somebody actually from Dakota Business Lending, where Christy offices, as well as somebody from the North Dakota State Department of Commerce. So they can talk a little bit about all of the state level grants that are coming out, especially in response to COVID and all of the effects that's had on the economy. As well as we have Cody First, who previously was with Annie Capital, but also is now the program manager at the NICE Center at NDSU, which is their entrepreneurship department. So we have a session completely focused on finances. So if a lot of those maybe finance questions that are kind of rolling around in your head, definitely register for that one. It's you can find it on our Facebook page as well as our website. And then we have two more after that. We have technology for small business, and we have two different people that will be talking a little bit more of like what they provide from a technology perspective. We have Megan McDougall from High Point Networks, who is a reseller of Microsoft products, and we'll talk a little bit about what does it take to sort of invest in technology, how do you make those decisions as a business owner, and kind of what that looks like. And then we also have Teresa Garrett, who will talk more from like a cloud perspective in Azure and how that sort of applies to your business. She's currently at Microsoft as well. And then our last one is growing and retaining your talent, which will be Christy again. So you get to hear from her again on that topic. So more HR focused, like looking at essentially how do you attract talent and keep them, and kind of what that looks like in a small business, especially knowing the market of our area and just talking a little bit about that. So there's a few more sessions that are kind of queued up for everybody to join in on.
Awesome. Thank you so much for doing this, you guys. Really, this is so helpful. The questions I didn't know I had, I now have. So that's a bonus, because it was really like the fear was one to try to get over, which I'm going to admit I'm not completely over it. There is the fear of just putting myself out there. And then, yeah, where do I start? How do I begin? How does the pen hit the paper to write the words? So, just that whole thing.
If I can give a plug, we have a Strong Women, Strong Coffee virtual event on Friday mornings. That's tomorrow. We have an incredible Zoe Bundy. She is just an incredible young entrepreneur, and our goal is just inspiration. So if I can suggest, it's a closed Facebook group, Strong Women, Strong Coffee, Fargo, and please join in. It's free, and we just do it for fun during COVID.
Okay, yes.
But lots of different inspiration and some really incredible business leaders that are going through the same thing. And that's our goal, is just sharing like, hey, you're not alone. And girl, you've got this. And so
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You bet.
Can I ask another question? Sorry, I'm not trying to dominate or pipe in a lot. But when you're creating your business plan and your strategy, how far in advance do you usually plan? Like, do you create a 5-year plan, 10-year, 1 year, all of the above? How far in advance usually thinking?
Good question. So I think it's important to have 1-year milestones when you're a brand new business. But if you're going to require any type of capital and actually need to have a full-fledged business plan, Danny, you're going to need about 3 years of projections. So the ballpark there is 3 years of projections if you're going to need some sort of capital. But let's be real, every milestone when you're a startup business is a victory. And so I like to put those things down. And I like to suggest even 6 months. Hey, what are those rocks that you're going to tackle in 6 months? So that way you can have those mini celebrations along the way. But ultimately, my rule of thumb, if you're going to require any sort of investment or capital, is 3 years of projections.
We have about 5 minutes left, so if you guys have any other questions, feel free to unmute yourself or put them in the chat, and we'd love to tackle them.
I have a question quick about the 3 years of projections. I don't know how to get that.
Yeah. So
do a business, like the business model plan for like probably 9 months, and I have no idea where to start or where to get those projections or where to, I'm lost.
So I could go through the really condensed versions, and that was Stephanie, correct?
Yes.
Okay, Stephanie, I can go through the really condensed version. Ultimately, if this is a side hustle and you want to make 10 grand in a year, then 10 grand is how much you need to make. And then back it off from there. If you have $1,000 rent a month and then you need to have X number of expenses, then that's how you do it. Very simply, that's how you can do your projections. Now, if this is a full-time gig and you need to make $150,000 or $250,000 profit, ultimately, how do your costs align and how do your fixed costs align to how much money do you need to bring in? So that's your profit, right? So what does your profit model look like? And how are you going to grow that every month? What is your marketing going to cost? I could spitball 100 other things at you, but I'd love for you. I'm happy to do something offline with you and actually go through. I have spreadsheets. I've got all kinds of templates. I'll send you for free. Just give me a jingle, and we'll set up a time to meet.
That would be awesome. Yeah, I was gonna say I did go on and sign up a little bit for the NDW. I gotta get it right. BC. Did I get those right? Yeah, I did that. So it's like, okay, perfect.
I got it. So yep, we'll send you a bookings link, and we'll virtually see you soon.
Awesome. Thank you.
Bet. Thanks, Stephanie.
Yep.
Any other questions for Christy?
Nailed it.
Crushed it. Done. You did your job. That's it. Well, I just want to say thank you.
That never happens. So
yeah, no, that's never done.
thank you from the bottom of my heart, the top of my heart, Kristen, for having me. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too. So thank you all for taking a chunk out of your evening to hang out with us and listen to Christy and sort of start thinking about your business strategy and how you want to tackle that. Thanks again, Christy. This has been fun. I appreciate you taking your time too. If you are interested in our next sessions, definitely get signed up and registered. We have the 3 more sessions that we're going to be tackling different parts of your business, and I'd love to see all of your faces there. And please also fill out the survey after the session today. It really helps us stay on track with our community and keep providing programming that's relevant to you and keeps us improving, because there's always room to grow.
Yeah.
So I have a last question. How do we sign up for the next sessions?
Sure. So on the West Fargo Public Library's Facebook page, you can check out the events tab. You'll see all of the events that we have coming up, and you can register. It'll bring you right to our registration form, and you can get
Okay.
connected.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys. Yeah.
Well, take care, everybody. Have a wonderful evening.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye, ladies.
Thank you.
Bye.
Still trying to determine if it's awkward if you wave.
I still do it.
Me too.
Hi.